Hello friends, welcome to my dental tutorial channel. I hope you are wondering that who is this different guy. Guys, I am same Dr. Harinder Pal Singh. It's just that I did not tie my beard today and I am wearing different type of turban. But guys, trust me, I am the same guy. Let's start with another important topic. As I promised last time that I will come back with a new very important topic. So today here I am to discuss a very important topic when it comes to ACJ exam, which is periodontics. Friends, every time in ACJ exam at least 5 or 7 questions come out of periodontics. So this is a very important topic. Friends, I will divide today's discussion into various sections. First one will be general terminologies, in which I will explain few very important terminologies that are required to understand this topic clearly. After that, I will discuss what is healthy periodontium, what is healthy gingiva on a reduced periodontium, types of gingivitis and periodontitis along with their features. I will explain what is perio chart, how to come to diagnosis by looking at the perio chart, and after that what should be the treatment when you have already diagnosed a disease based on additional information and the perio chart that has been given to you in exam. So friends, let's start with the general terminologies. Friends, the first term that I want to discuss with you is probing depth. To explain probing depth, I have made a rough diagram for you. Friends, of course, when we have to measure the probing depth, we use a dental instrument called dental probe. Dental probes are of various types, Williams probe, UNC probe. This diagram represents, this is the tooth portion that is enamel. This area is the root surface. This pink marker, this represents the gingiva. This dark marker, it represents the alveolar bone. Friends, as you all know that gingiva is divided into different zones. For example, the topmost part of the gingiva is called gingival margin. The gingiva that is not attached with the bone surface, this is called free gingiva. So from here till here, it is free gingiva. Free gingiva. The gingiva that is attached to the bone, this is called attached gingiva. The zone that demarcates these two portions of the gingiva, free and attached gingiva, we call it free gingival groove, and the attached gingiva, it continues into the alveolar mucosa and their junction is called mucogingival junction. Mucogingival junction. So friends, as we are talking about probing depth, whenever a dentist wants to check what is the condition or health of the gingiva or periodontium of the patient, so he takes out a probe and puts the probe around the tooth. For the purpose of ACJ exam, and of course I will explain it later on, a dentist probes the tooth at 6 different locations. At 6 locations. 3 locations are on the buccal side and 3 locations are on the palatal or lingual side. Let's say this is the buccal side of the tooth, and this is the lingual side of the tooth. So a dentist will take the probe and he will First, put the probe on this side, which is the mesiobuccal surface of the tooth. Second portion will be mid-buccal surface. Third portion will be distobuccal surface. Then he will turn around and he will probe the tooth on the lingual or the palatal side. This surface is the distolingual portion of the tooth. Here mid-lingual or mid-palatal, depending on whether the tooth is in maxilla or the mandible, and this surface is the mesiolingual. So a dentist probes the tooth at 6 different locations. I am telling you this thing because when I will explain the perio chart, you will get to know why I explained that we do probing at 6 different locations. Friends, now let's come back to the probing depth thing. A dentist puts the probe between the free gingiva and the enamel surface, that is here. The distance between the gingival margin and a fixed point on the tooth, the fixed point we take it as CEJ. Basically CEJ or cemento-enamel junction is considered a fixed point on the tooth from where we can take our measurements. In a healthy periodontium, the free gingiva, it extends coronally around the tooth, and the base of the gingival sulcus, it is attached at the cemento-enamel junction. Friends, the measurement between the free gingival margin and cemento-enamel junction, this is called the gingival sulcus or gingival sulcular depth, that is sulcus depth. We call it sulcus depth when it's a healthy periodontium, but when the periodontium is in a diseased condition, for example gingivitis or periodontitis, and the epithelium in the gingival sulcus, it becomes inflamed, then we call it periodontal pocket. We divide pocket into 2 types. One are true pockets and the other is false pockets. We will explain these terms in detail later on when we will discuss about various types of periodontitis and gingivitis. But now, just to restrict ourselves, so friends, the distance between the gingival margin and the cemento-enamel junction, here it is called the sulcus depth. But if this is a diseased condition and the base of the gingival sulcus is not present at the CEJ, or maybe it is at somewhat lower level, let's say like this, then the probing depth will be when a dentist will enter the probe into the pocket, the area where it will feel restriction or it will feel resistance, we measure that depth and we call it probing depth. So in this case it will be from here till here. This is called probing depth. Probing depth. So in case of gingival sulcus, from the gingival margin to the base of the gingival sulcus, that is called gingival sulcular depth. In case of periodontal pocket, the measurements are taken from gingival margin up till the base of the periodontal pocket, and we call it probing depth. The second important term which we need to discuss is, it is called recession. Friends, recession is the term that we often use in case of periodontics. Recession. As I have already explained that in a healthy periodontium, the free gingiva, it encircles the enamel of the or crown of the tooth. But when periodontitis happens, or when there is loss of bone because of any reason, sometimes the gingiva, it recedes apically on the root surface. The apical recession of the or apical receding of the gingiva on a root surface, it is called the recession. To explain it, I am going to draw the diagram, the same type of diagram. This is enamel. Earlier I represented the gingiva like this, but in case there is a periodontitis and there is bone loss, The soft tissue, it always follows the hard tissue. That is, whenever there is a bone loss, the soft tissue, that is gingiva, it follows it, or it also recedes apically. In case the gingiva, it recedes apically and becomes like this, that is, the gingiva, it comes down from the CEJ. If this is the CEJ or cemento-enamel junction, when the free gingival margin, this is the free gingival margin, when the free gingival margin is present apical to the cemento-enamel junction, we call it recession of the gingiva. Now, since we know what is recession, now a very important term that is called clinical attachment loss needs to be explained. Clinical attachment loss, or we call it CAL. Clinical attachment loss, it means there has been destruction in the attachment apparatus of the tooth, which consists of periodontal fibers, interdental bone or alveolar bone, and lamina dura. Friends, there are three different scenarios from where I will tell you how to measure the clinical attachment loss, because it's a very important thing to understand if we want to attempt questions in case of periodontics. Friends, the first scenario is when gingival margin is located coronal to the cemento-enamel junction. To make things clear, I am going to draw a diagram for you. This represents the enamel. This is the cemento-enamel junction. I will use a different marker to draw the gingiva. Let's say this represents the gingiva, and of course there is alveolar bone underneath the gingiva. Now, when gingival margin, what is gingival margin? It is the topmost area of the or topmost part of the free gingiva. This is gingival margin. When gingival margin is located coronal to the cemento-enamel junction. So how do we determine what is the clinical attachment loss in this type of scenario? Clinical attachment loss here, it's probing depth. Probing depth, as we know, is measured from the gingival margin to the base of the pocket. From here till here, let's say this is 5 millimeter. 5 millimeter minus distance between gingival margin and the base of the pocket or base of the gingival sulcus, whatever may be the situation. So friends, here probing depth is same as that of distance between gingival margin and cemento-enamel junction. So in this case, there is 0 millimeter of clinical attachment loss. Basically, this is a scenario, for example, when a patient is having drug-induced gingival enlargement. In that case, the base of the pocket does not shift apically on the root surface. It is still attached to the cemento-enamel junction, but because of the hypertrophy and enlargement of the marginal gingiva or free gingiva, the depth of the probing area or probing depth, it increases. Friends, for your information, I want to tell you a probing depth of 3 millimeter is considered normal when it comes to ACJ exam. So a probing depth from 1 to 3 millimeter in all of the perio chart, we will consider it normal. Now let's move on to second scenario. Second scenario is when gingival margin is located at CEJ. I am going to draw a different diagram. Of course, the diagram will be like this, but it's going to be different. This is enamel. This is CEJ. This is root surface. The scenario is when gingival margin is located at cemento-enamel junction. Guys, now we need to understand how to determine clinical attachment loss. Clinical attachment loss. In this case, whenever gingival margin is located at CEJ, the clinical attachment loss will be equal to the probing depth. As we know, what is probing depth? It is the distance between the gingival margin to the base of the pocket. So basically this area here is the clinical attachment loss. Otherwise, in a normal scenario, the base of the pocket is present at the cemento-enamel junction. But now, because of the destruction of the alveolar bone, it has shifted apically to this level, where now the new base of the pocket is there. So this area, it represents the loss of attachment, clinical attachment loss. Now probing depth is equal to clinical attachment loss when gingival margin is located at cemento-enamel junction. Now there is third scenario. Third scenario is when marginal gingiva or gingival margin is located apical to the cemento-enamel junction. When gingival margin is apical to cemento-enamel junction, then in this case, how to determine clinical attachment loss? In this scenario, clinical attachment loss will be determined by adding probing depth into recession. To make things clear, let's draw a diagram. This represents the enamel. This is CEJ. This is root surface. This represents the gingiva. This area represents the gingival margin. This area represents the base of periodontal pocket. Now, to understand what is clinical attachment loss, we are going to add probing depth and recession. In this case, probing depth is distance between gingival margin and the base of the perio pocket. Let's say this is 3 millimeter. 3 millimeter plus. This area between the cemento-enamel junction and the gingival margin, this represents the recession. Let's say this is 2 millimeter. 2 millimeter. So the total clinical attachment loss comes out to be 5 millimeter. Friends, always remember these three scenarios. This will help you to understand the basics of the periodontics very easily. I hope you have understood how to calculate clinical attachment loss, because this will help you when it comes to perio chart. Some of you might be confused now that otherwise probing depth of 3 millimeter was considered normal, but why this probing depth of 3 millimeter is now considered under clinical attachment loss? To make things clear, friends, I want to tell you that 3 millimeter of probing depth is normal when it comes to a healthy periodontium, but whenever there is a diseased condition or there is a periodontal pocket more than 3 millimeter, it is no longer a healthy scenario. It represents that there is some underlying pathology present that has led to either the destruction of the clinical attachment apparatus, or it has led to the or there is some hypertrophy of the gingiva present. This thing will be more clear in the coming section, which is perio chart. Now I will come on to perio chart to tell you how the questions in the questions from the periodontics, they come in the ACJ exam.